Right now. Oh, Christmas, we believe in Christmas.
Oh, we believe.
It's hard to forecast.
Because even if we have snow, it could be doing what it's doing right now, starting to rain all over it.
Good morning, everyone. We're starting with number 248 in the hymnal. We believe in Christmas. Oh, we believe in Christmas and keep Christmas Day, and we will honor Christmas the ancient worldwide way. The Christmas of all peoples, the sun's returning cheer, rung out from towers and steeples at midnight of the year. And we will join at Christmas the song of hope and joy that finds its theme at Christmas in every girl and boy. The flame of life will dwindle as fades the sunset sky, until a child shall kindle a new light and raise it high. Then sing we all at Christmas the song of that new birth, which holds the hope of Christmas and brings its joy to earth, which knits the generations, each daughter and each son, beyond all tribes and nations, and makes the many one. Shine out, ye lights of Christmas, from earth and tree and star, and let the warmth of Christmas shed kindness near and far. And clang ye bells of Christmas upon the frosty air, and may the joy of Christmas spread gladness everywhere.
Thank you all so much. What a great start to the service. Appreciate you all being here. Yeah. And thank you all for being here too. Those of you who are in the room with us, you braved the latest snowfall to get here this morning, so thank you. The roads aren't too bad. And I think it's going to rain today and probably mostly melt away. It's that time of year where it kind of comes and goes. But great to have all of you here. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Spokane, where our mission is to join together to create a nourishing, liberal religious home and to champion justice, diversity, and environmental stewardship in our wider world. Or as we say in short now, and it's a new line, remember, it's create community, find meaning, and live justly, right? Live justly. It's harder to say than work for justice, which is what we were saying. Not that we're wordsmithing, but, you know, I love the way it puts the onus on us rather than setting us up to be the heroes of the world, right? But to be disciplined in this way. Create community, find meaning, and live justly. Okay? All right. Or as we say in short, to create community, find meaning, and live justly. All right. Well, thank you all, and welcome to everyone, those of you who are here in the sanctuary with us this morning, as well as the many of you who are live streaming with us this morning, as well as those of you who are on Zoom with us. We're so glad to have all of you as well. So let's go ahead and ask there's our Zoom folks. I have to look over my shoulder to see you, but it looks like we have a pretty good crowd this morning. Who's Zooming with us this morning?
Well, this is Terry from Edmonton.
Hey, Terry.
We have about 12 of us, and mostly the old gang, but a few new faces, which is always nice to see too. So, we might gloat on the fact that none of us had to drive through a snowstorm to get here this morning. So we're happy about that.
Well, I have to say that sounds kind of strange coming from somebody in Edmonton, Alberta.
Yes, well, we're looking for a green Christmas this year in Edmonton. Unbelievably.
Yeah, well, okay. Yeah, I know it's certainly warming up these days, and in some ways it's nice not to have to shovel a lot of snow. In other ways, it's very concerning not to have to shovel a lot of snow at this time of year. But in any case, we will live through whatever we live through together, and celebrate what we can. So it's so good to have all of you Zooming with us this morning. And again, welcome to everybody who is with us this morning, however you are participating in person, streaming, or on Zoom. Thanks for being here. And I don't have any special announcements. I guess I will reiterate that we're having, is the cookie sale after this service too? You don't know? That's what they said? Okay, so, well, maybe not all the cookies are here, but there's some here, so you get to buy cookies in, because we promised you can. And yeah, so that's happening, annual sort of cookie fundraiser sale, holiday cookies. So please enjoy that, as well as the usual camaraderie during our social period. So other than that, let's take a couple of minutes now to greet one another. right, let's move forward now with the lighting of our chalice, the symbol of our faith, the symbol of our unity and our solidarity, of our openness and our inclusion, of our community and our individual uniqueness. May this small flame be our offering of warmth to those who are cold and alone, and a light to those in darkness. May it be a flame that ignites justice in our world and a beacon of hope to those in need, and may it reflect at least a spark of truth wherever truth has been lost, and cast a healthy shadow of doubt wherever it's been found.
For the opening words from Joseph Campbell, a ritual is the enactment of a myth, and by participating in the ritual, you are participating in the myth. And since myth is a projection of the depth wisdom of the psyche, by participating in a ritual, in the myth, you are being put in accord with that wisdom, which is inherent within you. Your consciousness is being reminded of the wisdom of your own life.
Please stand for It Came Upon a Midnight Clear. It came upon the midnight clear, that glorious song of old, from angels bending near the earth to touch their harps of gold. Peace on the earth to all goodwill, from heaven the news we bring. The world in solemn stillness lay to hear the angels sing. Still through the cloven skies they come, with peaceful wings unfurled, and still their heavenly music floats o'er all the weary world. Above its sad and lonely plains they bend on hovering wing, and ever o'er its perilous sounds the blessed angels sing. But with the woes of war and strife the world has suffered long, beneath the angel strain have rolled 2,000 years of wrong. And we who fight the wars hear not the love song which they bring. Oh, hush the noise of battle strife, and hear the angels sing. For lo, the days are hastening on by prophets foretold, when with the ever-circling years comes round the age of gold, when peace shall over all the earth its ancient splendors fling, and the whole world give back the song which now the angels sing.
Thank you. Wonderful to have the ensemble with us today. And by the way, I think there were a couple of stanzas that were different on the screen. There were? Yeah, okay. So we'll maybe get that straightened up for the second service if possible. Or ask people to use the hymnal. That's probably what you were using, right?
Yeah,
The
I
hymn.
didn't know. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's okay. They were beautiful lyrics. They were just completely different. Like two different songs. And then it came back. But it's okay because those of us who stopped singing got to hear you sing. Okay, well, we're going to go ahead and kindle our candles of care now for those who are on our hearts and minds. And you know, I really I know we've been leading with Ukraine and Israel and Palestinians for far too long now, and it seems, you know, after the news of just the last couple of days, it's even more concerning. You know, on the one hand, we have a divided government that is not wanting to prevent Vladimir Putin from rebuilding the Eastern Bloc at the expense of a lot of good people. On the other hand, our country doesn't want to come out as a strong voice for protecting innocent civilians when wars are going on, and I just can't say let's light these candles today on behalf of the people of Ukraine and the people of Israel and the Palestinian people. I can't say the people of Palestine because there's really no such thing, at least not formally recognized, without bringing up things are getting worse. And I would like to at least be part of a country that strives to do the right thing, not the worst thing. So we'll keep those candles lit for them. Also want to have a candle for Tanya and Kurt Workmaster, both of whom are oddly enough suffering from two different but two very serious, potentially life-threatening health issues. So please keep them in your thoughts at this time as well. Them and their family, their sons. Let's do take a moment of silence on behalf of others that you might be thinking of, and as always, you're welcome to name them aloud if you'd like. Those named aloud and those embraced in our silence, and all those who are suffering in our world at this hour, we hold in our community with compassion. And we now gratefully give and receive this morning's offering, which helps sustain this community and our mission to the larger world.
Christmas time's coming, and I know snowflakes are falling, my old home's calling, tall pines are humming, oh, Christmas time's coming. Can you hear the bells ringing, bringing joy to all? Hear them singing. When it's snowing, I'll be going back to my country home. Christmas time's coming, Christmas time's coming, Christmas time's coming, and I know I'm going home. Candlelights burning, my old heart's yearning. Now far from the homestead, oh, Christmas times are coming. Can you hear the bells ringing, bringing joy to all? I hear them singing. When it's snowing, I'll be going back to my country home. Christmas times are coming, Christmas times are coming, Christmas times are coming, I know I'm going home. Holly in the window, home where the wind blows, can't walk for running, oh, Christmas time is coming. Can you hear the bells ringing, bringing joy to all? I hear them singing. When it's snowing, I'll be going back to my country home. Christmas times are coming, Christmas times are coming, Christmas times are coming, I know I'm going home. Christmas times are coming, Christmas times are coming, Christmas times are coming, I know I'm going home. Oh, Christmas times are coming, Christmas times are coming, Christmas times are coming, I know I'm going home.
Thank you so much. Reminds me of the Appalachian Christmas music I often heard living 25 years in Kentucky. Yeah, beautiful. By the way, in the order of service, there's a misprint on the title of today's sermon. It has last week's title. For those of you who came hoping to hear it again, I'm sorry. I'll be doing It's a Wonderful Life, which is, I think, important to say as we move into our time for our very special time for all ages today. Because It's a Wonderful Life is really ultimately about the dilemma we all face between being individuals and being part of a community. And Unitarians are particularly weird because we are a community based upon our common devotion to the individual. So it's almost a contradiction in terms. Nevertheless, we wrestle with it. We wrestle with how to be an independent person and yet a person responsible to our community without getting lost in that process. And this ritual that we're doing today, our sort of annual tree trimming event, I think is an extraordinary example, an extraordinary symbol of not only that conflict, but the ability to make it work. And so everybody here should have received an ornament when you came in. Does everybody have an ornament? If not, we'll make sure you get one. And the same thing is going to happen at the second service as well. But rather than taking a long time to decorate our Christmas tree, the community can do it together in almost no time flat because we do it together. We each take our ornament, symbolizing the piece of beauty and decoration and life and liveliness and light and beauty that we offer the world. They can come together by working together to creating something beautiful. And it happens so easily and so quickly in this short period of time. So that's the ritual, and you probably won't get to see the finished tree today because we're going to do the same thing during our second service. But be sure and take another good look at it next week as well as appreciate what this group has done. So for those of you who are streaming and zooming with us, I don't know, Todd, will you be able to point the camera in that direction, or is it? Oh, great. Todd will show you what's happening so you can participate remotely as well. So please take your ornament, get an ornament. Are they on the table if someone needs one? Yeah, so if you need one, and go trim the tree.
Jingle bells.
I should, yeah.
I know. Dashing through the snow in one horse open sleigh, o'er the fields we go, laughing all the way. Bells on bobtails ring, making spirits bright. What fun it is to ride and sing a sleighing song tonight. Oh, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one horse open sleigh. Hey, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one horse open sleigh. A day or two ago, I thought I'd take a ride, and soon Miss Fanny Bright was seated at my side. The horse was lean and lank, misfortune seemed his lot. He got into a drifted bank, and we got upshot. Oh, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. A day or two ago, the story I must tell. I went out on the snow and on my back I fell. A gent was riding by in a one-horse open sleigh. He laughed as there I was sprawling live, but quickly drove away. Oh, jingle jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey, jingle jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh.
For the meditation, several quotes about community. Community is not an ideal, it is people. It is you and I. In community, we are called to love people just as they are, with their wounds and their gifts, not as we want them to be. Jean Vanier. And from Ryunosuke Satoru, individually, we are one drop. Together, we are an ocean.
beautiful star of Bethlehem, shining afar through shadows dim, giving a light for those who long have gone, guiding the wise men on their way unto the place where Jesus lay. Beautiful star of Bethlehem, shine on, shine on. Oh, beautiful star,
Beautiful, beautiful star
of Bethlehem,
of Bethlehem,
shine upon us until the glory dawn. Give us a light to guide the way unto the land of perfect day. Beautiful star of Bethlehem, shine on, shine on. Oh, beautiful star, the hope of life, guiding the pilgrims through the night, over the mountains till the break of dawn, into the light of perfect day. It will give out a lovely ray. Beautiful star of Bethlehem, shine on, shine on. Oh, beautiful star
beautiful, beautiful star
of Bethlehem,
of Bethlehem,
shine upon us until the glory dawn. Give us a light to guide the way unto the land of perfect day. Beautiful star of Bethlehem, shine on, shine on. Beautiful star, the hope of rest, Father redeemed the good and blessed, over in glory when the crown is won. Jesus, now that star divine, brighter and brighter he will shine. Beautiful star of Bethlehem, shine on, shine on. Oh, beautiful star
beautiful, beautiful star
of Bethlehem,
of Bethlehem,
shine upon us until the glory dawn. Give us a light to guide the way unto the land of perfect day. Beautiful star of Bethlehem, shine on, shine on.
Thank you so much. That was just beautiful. Today, if you haven't noticed, is sort of our annual Christmas service or holiday service, even though it's a couple of weeks away. And the reason for that is Christmas Eve falls on a Sunday this year, on the 24th. So rather than having services that morning, when we expect people will probably be away or have family in or celebrating the holiday at home, we are going to have our annual Christmas Eve service, what we call our Cosmic Advent service here at this church. So folks who have family in can come and participate in that. We're going to be beginning at 4:30, which is dark here, so that works for a Christmas Eve service. And also hopefully isn't too late for those of you who are in the Eastern time zone who want to live stream or even Zoom with us if you want to put together a Zoom group. So that'll be that's what's happening on the holiday this year. And so today is sort of our official Christmas service. A lot of folks don't celebrate Christmas or prefer to be more inclusive in their language around the holiday, but I grew up celebrating Christmas. I love it. And so we celebrate Christmas because I get to say what I want in the pulpit. So I'll say Christmas. Merry Christmas. Thank you. All right, we've got the right title up there. So I want to begin by mentioning one of my favorite sitcoms ever is The King of Queens. How many of you have heard of The King of Queens? Yeah, we've got a few. So this stars Kevin James, or starred, it's in reruns now, comedian Kevin James, and Lee Ramini as Doug and Carrie Hefferman, a blue-collar working couple who live in Queens, New York, along with Carrie's obnoxious father, Arthur Spooner, played by the hysterical and now late comedian Jerry Stiller, the same actor, of course, who played George Costanza's father in Seinfeld. And for those who've been around, probably remember him as one of the great vaudevillian comedians of all time. And one of the funniest and most memorable episodes for me is the one in which Arthur begins watching famous movies he'd never even heard of before, including It's a Wonderful Life. Noticing this as she walks through the living room, Carrie says, "Oh, It's a Wonderful Life. Pretty great, huh?" "Actually, I think this one's a swing and a miss," Arthur says, disappointedly. "What are you talking about?" Carrie says in disbelief. "It's one of the greatest movies of all time." "I don't get it," Arthur responds. "With George Bailey, the town couldn't be duller. Without him, there's nightclubs, casinos. It's fabulous. I wish he never had been born." So art is always a matter of interpretation, which may be especially so of what has become of director Frank Capra's most beloved and famous film. Following its release in 1946, It's a Wonderful Life was nominated for 5 Academy Awards, including Best Picture, Best Actor, Best Director, which would have been Capra's 4th as director and his 4th for Best Picture. His first picture to do so was It Happened One Night, released in 1934, which was the first film in history to win Academy Awards in 5 major categories: Best Picture, Best Actress, Best Actor, Best Screenplay, and Best Director. The only other 2 to have done so are One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest and The Silence of the Lambs. Capra's other 2 Best Picture awards were for Mr. Deeds Goes to Town in 1936 and You Can't Take It With You in 1938. Despite its nominations, however, what has become Capra's most remembered movie didn't win a single Academy Award in 46 and was a box office bomb. It lost over $500,000, which was a tremendous amount in those days, especially considering it didn't cost much more than $2 million to produce. It was so unpopular that its existence quickly disappeared from the minds of most and would have remained in the scrap bin of forgotten films were it not for a clerical mistake made in 1974, 28 years after its disappointing reception by moviegoers. That's when Republic Pictures, its owner at the time, unintentionally failed to renew its copyright, which placed it in the public domain. Thousands of local TV stations around the U.S., eager for new holiday programming, began broadcasting it royalty-free and continued doing so for the next 20 years, which is how it became the familiar holiday classic it's now considered. And I have to say it's kind of troubling for me to admit that there are now classic films that are younger than I am. Yeah. And today, thanks to a 1993 Supreme Court decision, Republic Pictures has regained its rights and has since given NBC an exclusive license to show it twice a year. Nowadays, of course, people can rent it online or even own it themselves for a few bucks and watch it without commercials anytime they want. Republic Pictures was able to regain its rights because it had retained the rights to The Greatest Gift, the short story that inspired the film. So one morning in 1938, toward the latter half of the Great Depression, a man named Philip Van Doren Stern was getting ready for work when he got the idea of a story about a man who on the eve of Christmas is prevented from committing suicide by a stranger. The encounter ultimately restores his faith in humanity and renews his love for life. Stern couldn't sell the story, however, but he liked it enough to turn it into a pamphlet that he printed about 200 copies of, most of which he sent to his friends as Christmas cards. That was in 1943, 5 years after Stern got the idea. 2 years later, it was printed in Good Housekeeping magazine, upon which RKO Radio Pictures bought the film rights for $10,000. Although Frank Capra, who had been making movies since the days of silent film, was the most successful director of the 1930s and had already served during World War I, didn't stop him from joining the military just 4 days after the bombing of Pearl Harbor, joining it again. It then became his job to produce propaganda films to improve morale among the ranks. He worked directly for the senior officer in charge of the Army, General George C. Marshall, who would eventually become President Franklin D. Roosevelt's chief of staff and the U.S. Army, and President Harry Truman's Secretary of State and Secretary of Defense. Despite being awarded a Distinguished Service Medal presented by Marshall himself, Capra was more than ready to come home and get back to his career. It was my first picture after being in the Army for about 5 years, Capra recollected. I was scared to death. I had not looked through the eyepiece of a camera at an actor in all that length of time. What would my first film be about? One thing he did know, he said, it certainly wasn't going to be about war. I had had my belly full of war, and I came out a perfect pacifist. So what would it be about? And this is where Stern's story comes in. Capra worked for RKO, which again owned the rights. According to Capra, 3 of its best screenwriters attempted to adapt it, but said they all missed the story's main point. They missed, he said, the idea I got when I bought this Christmas card. In about 9 paragraphs, there was this story. A man was a failure, was given the opportunity to come back and see the world as it would have been had he not been born, and he finds out no man is a failure. Well, my goodness, this story hit me like a ton of bricks, so I wrote my own script, and that's the story of It's a Wonderful Life. 9 paragraphs aren't much to base an entire feature film on. And Capra added a lot to the original story, but he never veered from its main premise. Instead of George Bailey, the Greatest Gifts protagonist is named George Pratt. It begins with Pratt standing at a bridge, preparing to jump off. I wouldn't do that if I were you, a quiet voice said beside him. George turned resentfully to a little man he'd never seen before. He was stout, well past middle age, and his round cheeks were pink in the winter air as though they had just been shaved. Wouldn't do what? George asked sullenly. What you were thinking of doing. How do you know what I was thinking? Oh, we make it our business to know a lot of things, the stranger said easily. Before long, George admitted his true feelings. I'm stuck here in this mud hole for life, doing the same dull work day after day. Other men are leading exciting lives, but Well, I'm just a small-town bank clerk that even the Army didn't want. I never did anything really useful or interesting, and it looks as if I never will. I might as well just be dead. I might better be dead. Sometimes I wish I were. In fact, I wish I'd never been born. The little man stood looking at him in the growing darkness. What was that you said? He asked softly. I said I wish I'd never been born, George repeated firmly, and I mean it too. The stranger's pink cheeks glowed with excitement. Why, that's wonderful. You've solved everything. I was afraid you were going to give me some trouble, but now you've got the solution yourself. You wish you'd never been born. All right, okay, you haven't. With that, the stranger gives George a satchel full of hairbrushes, explaining it'll open a lot of doors that might otherwise be slammed in your face. Soon thereafter, George realized he must pose as a salesman just to talk to his friends and family because none of them recognized him anymore. His wish had come true. George Pratt had never been born and soon discovered many of the people he loves were in serious trouble as a result, including his wife Mary, who ended up marrying an abusive husband, and that his brother had drowned as a child because George wasn't there to save him, just like in the movie. One important difference between the movie and the short story, however, is Capra's introduction of an antagonist to the mix, robber baron Henry F. Potter, played memorably by Lionel Barrymore. Potter is the antithesis of George Bailey, played, as you know, by Jimmy Stewart, who incidentally had also just come back from the war and wondered if he would ever act again. He wondered, after all the horrors of war, if acting really meant anything to anyone, if it was an important service to his world. And the desire to do something meaningful for humanity was a desire of Stewart's that mirrored this character he played. It was the underlying ethic that prevented him from becoming like Mr. Potter, the selfish individual who cared only for himself, regardless of how doing so impacts the welfare of others and one's community. In one memorable scene, Potter invites George to his office to entice him into giving up his own self-interest. What's your point, Mr. Potter? George asked. My point is I want to hire you. Hire me? Yes, I want you to manage my affairs, run my properties. George, I'll start you at $20,000 a year. And that was a lot of money back then, as evidenced by George's wide eyes and open mouth, out of which the expensive cigar Potter had given him promptly drops. $20,000 a year? You wouldn't mind living in the nicest house in town, buying your wife lots of fine clothes, a couple of business trips to New York a year, maybe once in a while Europe. You wouldn't mind that, would you, George? Would I? George says. You're not talking to somebody else here, are you? You know, this is me. Remember me, George Bailey. Oh, yes, George Bailey, whose ship has just come in, Potter replies with a wink, providing he has enough brains to climb aboard. Holy mackerel. Well, how about the building and loan, he asked, referring to the family business, of course, that he's trying to save for the sake of the entire town. Confound it, man, are you afraid of success? I'm offering you a 3-year contract at $20,000 a year starting today. Is it a deal or isn't it? Now, this encounter was only the worst of many similar temptations George faces throughout the entire movie. At its very start, when still an adolescent, he walks into the pharmacy where he works and says, I wish I had $1 million. First thing he wishes for. That's our introduction. I wish I had $1 million. He then shows the latest National Geographic magazine to young Mary, who would become his love interest and eventually his wife. I've been nominated for membership in the National Geographic Society, he brags. I'm going out exploring someday, you watch. And upon graduating from high school, he also tells Mary, I'm shaking the dust of this crummy little town off my feet and I'm going to go see the world. George's greatest wish is to leave Bedford Falls, his hometown, behind and to become free and independent. But each time he plans to leave, something gets in his way. His own sense of responsibility to others, his own sense of moral duty. His plans to leave must be delayed after his father's sudden death so that he can stay around long enough to help stabilize the business. Upon completing this task and finally saying goodbye, Mr. Potter, a board member, announces his plan to take it over. George protests, but tells the board members that they can do whatever they want, and he heads for the train station, providing, that is, he has enough brains to climb aboard. Excited as he is to leave, he knows that he can't. Discards all those wonderful travel brochures he'd collected over the years and reluctantly turns toward town to settle down, feeling as if he'd been defeated. George personally suffers each time he makes this same decision to put the needs of others before his own wishes. As a child, he loses a hearing in one of his ears, risking his life to save his brother from drowning. His drunken boss beats him after George saves him from making a deadly pharmaceutical mistake. When there's a run on the bank, he has to cancel his own honeymoon. George isn't made happy by doing the right thing. But happiness doesn't seem to be his main motivation. Maybe it's his own sense of integrity that drives him. Maybe it's his compassion for others. Maybe it's his sense of duty to his community. Well, Mr. Potter, I know I ought to jump at the chance, but I wonder if it would be possible for you to give me 24 hours to think it over. Sure. You go home and you talk it over with your wife. I'd like to do that. Yeah, in the meantime, I'll draw up the papers. All right, sir. Okay, George. Okay, Mr. Potter, George says, shaking the old man's hand. Afterward, he looks at his hand and his demeanor turns to one of shame. Wait a minute here. Wait a minute. I don't need 24 hours. I don't need to talk to anybody I know right now. And the answer is no. No. Doggone it. You sit around here, you spin your little webs, and you think the whole world revolves around you and your money. Well, it doesn't, Mr. Potter. In the whole vast configuration of things, I'd say you were nothing but a scurvy little spider. And George marches out the door. But after this latest moral decision, things become worse than ever. To the point that he's ready to go to that bridge and commit suicide. And this may be why the film wasn't well received by its initial audience. It's my guess it is, because the suffering it portrays was still too close to home. People were still feeling the worst impacts of the war and the Great Depression, and of all the loss of life from both. And during the Depression alone, suicide rates increased almost 23% during just the first 4 years alone. Portraying this on a film may have still been too much for many people to watch. Fortunately, George doesn't take that final leap. Thanks to Clarence, a befuddled angel who is sent to help him. We all know what happens then. George gets a chance to see what life would have been like had he never existed, which enables him to recognize his value and to return to his life a happy and grateful man. Here's how it goes in Stern's original short story. He hurried down the hill and broke into a run when he neared the river. George was relieved to see the little stranger standing on the bridge. "I've had enough," he gasped. "Get me out of this. You've got to get me into it. Back into it." The stranger raised his eyebrows. "I got you into it." "I like that. You were granted your wish. You got everything you asked for. You're the freest man on earth now. You have no ties. You can go anywhere, do anything. What more could you possibly want?" "Change me back," George pleaded. "Change me back, please. Not just for my sake, but for others too. You don't know what a mess this town is in. You don't understand. I've got to get back. They need me here." "I understand right enough," the stranger said slowly. "I just wanted to make sure you did. You had the greatest gift of all conferred upon you, the gift of life, of being a part of this world and taking a part in it. Yet you denied that gift. It being Christmas Eve, and more importantly, because George had learned his lesson by learning how valuable his own life was, the magical stranger granted his second wish, and things returned to normal, and George happily returned to his family and friends. Capra said it's a wonderful life. Finally expressed what he'd been trying to say in all his movies. But I had never heard or seen this plot used, he said, in which a man was allowed to see how his little world would have been had he not been born. This was novel to me, new, and a wonderfully human way of pinning this idea down of the importance of the individual, which has always been the main theme of all my films. Ultimately, then, It's a Wonderful Life is an homage to our most cherished liberal principle, the inherent worth and dignity of every person. But it's also about the kind of person we will choose to be. The selfish kind who only thinks of oneself, or the kind who holds to the humanistic ethic that we each have the moral responsibility to do what we can to look out for the welfare of others. Upon realizing this, George is happy at the end of the film, even though he's returning to things just the way they were, just the way they always have been, to the very same problems and stresses and challenges that he once wanted to kill himself over. But now he returns back to that town shouting, "Merry Christmas," to everyone he sees. "Merry Christmas, Bedford Falls. Merry Christmas, Movie House. Merry Christmas, Emporium. Merry Christmas, you wonderful old building and loan. Merry Christmas, Mr. Potter. Merry Christmas, wonderful old drafty house." There are lots of ways to throw our lives away. Mr. Potter, George's alter ego, who, if this story had been in reverse, and we saw the future instead of the past, would have been who George Bailey would have become. Threw his life away, even though he was the richest and most successful person in town. He threw it away by giving up his humanity and by disregarding the humanity of others. Each of us must find this balance between freedom and belonging, between our own happiness and the happiness of others. But it is not as important to know what life would be like without us as to wonder what life will be like because of us. The question is not, what is the meaning of life, but what is the meaning of my life? What is the meaning of your life? What difference can we make to our friends, to our family, to our community? What must we give up? What must we endure? When we understand the answer to these questions, we gladly take on whatever challenges befall us, because we know the purpose of our lives, the truest source of our wealth and our happiness. Merry Christmas. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, look, there's things. We're going to sing our last hymn. It's number 235. Number 235 in the hymnal, and I'd like to say, get out your hymnals for this one, because I want to make sure that's the right words. Deck the halls with boughs of holly. Also, next week the choir is singing, so please come and support the choir. We're going to sing Carol of the Bells and Everywhere Christmas Tonight, which is a beautiful song.
Khalil Gibran is giving us our benediction. When you are sorrowful, look again in your heart, and you shall see that in truth you are weeping for that which has been your delight. Some of you say, joy is greater than sorrow, and others say, nay, sorrow is the greater. But I say to you, they are inseparable. Together they come, and when one sits alone with you at your board, remember that the other is asleep upon your bed. You are suspended like scales between your sorrow and your joy.
Shalom Havarim, Shalom Havarim, Shalom
Sorry. It gets a little confusing here.